Hello, my name is Tanner Litchfield. I am an investor and an agent based here in Utah. Now, I have not always lived in Utah. I've only been here for about 2 years. I have lived in several states, but the purpose of today's video is to explain why Utah is an amazing place to invest your money. Now, living in different states and even out of the country for a few months, one of the most obvious things about Utah is how much it's growing. It's absolutely wild. I've lived in Seattle for most of my life. I've lived in Indiana, I've lived in Scotland, and I've lived in Utah. Now, here's why the growth in Utah is absolutely wild. Just in my vicinity, I'm in Lehi, Utah, which is a tech hub just south of Salt Lake City. There is so much development going on. There are probably 12 developments within a few mile vicinity. So that's one thing. Number two, Silicon Slopes, which is this tech hub, is this mini tech hub, and it is growing like crazy. We have Adobe there. We have a Microsoft satellite office. There are a ton of companies that are moving to Lehi, and there are a ton of unicorn companies that are in their infancy that are starting to grow like crazy. We saw what happened with Seattle when Amazon and Microsoft blew up. I really do anticipate that Lehi is going to have a couple massive companies that blow up. So that's one part. Now, another part, Utah's market is starting to change rapidly. It was just announced that we are getting an NHL team, which is massive. So that's gonna create a hot spot for Salt Lake City even more. We are still trying to get an MLB team, and at the rate that Ryan Smith is going, I anticipate he'll get one soon. He owns the soccer team here, he owns the NHL team, and he owns the basketball team, the Jazz. So he'll probably get an MLB team here soon, which will create even more buzz, right? Now, another thing, Salt Lake City was just named the #1 job market in America, and US News also just announced that Utah is the #1 state to live in. I have no idea what metrics they're using for this, but it's a good sign. People want to move to Utah. And even in 2008, which was a terrible year for real estate, Utah held its ground much better than other states. And what's my theory behind that? I think there's a lot of reasons to move to Utah. There are some massive universities that attract a ton of individuals. That's one thing. And a lot of these people, when they go to school, they don't leave. A lot of them stay put, which increases the population. Now, let's talk a little bit more about why people move to Utah. The mountains have some of the best snow in the entire world. People travel from all over to snowboard and to ski here. That's one thing. Now, it's also insanely gorgeous. If you've been to Utah, there's mountains on both sides that you can see almost all hours of the day. It's absolutely gorgeous. And also, there is hiking everywhere. So if you're outdoorsy, it's an amazing place to live. We have a lot going for us here in Utah. So obviously, it's not a massive cash flow state. But if you can hold on to real estate here in Utah, the appreciation because of the growth that we're seeing is going to be monumental, in my opinion. So if you're looking for an investment property, reach out to me. I focus mostly on the investment side. I own several rentals myself, and I'd love to help you on your journey. Make sure you subscribe. I'll be doing a lot more content just like this, and I'd love to see you engage.